Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Ruffman. I am your host, John Ruffman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you each and every day, it expands our base. Do you feel like a yo-yo? Ups and downs, back and forth. I waited this morning until the stock market opened just to see how it would look today. And very early on, we're seeing a fall again rather than a rise. But one thing I learned, and I think it's very important, we have become centered on what Donald Trump says or does. His whims, his feelings make all the difference in terms of market fluctuation. This, to me, is a profoundly disturbing development. America's strength in the world is because of our stability, militarily, economically, politically. And when that stability is threatened, the nature of America and its relationship to the world changes. What Donald Trump has demonstrated is that we need a president, not a king. We need a president who works with Congress, not a president who rules by fiat, by executive order. We need a president who understands that stability is what saves the world and America from chaos. We clearly don't have that in this president. I want now to move to another very significant moment, and that has to do with Social Security. The Republicans have essentially, with Donald Trump's acquiescence, have essentially damaged Social Security. Not eliminated it, but damaged it. Have you tried to contact your Social Security office directly? It's becoming more and more difficult. And in fact, when you try to go in, you can't. And when you try to phone, it doesn't work. And when you go online, it tells you to phone. So there is something very wrong with what Donald Trump is doing to Social Security. The fact that this will affect millions of people is clear, present, and of deep and abiding concern. There is something else of deep and abiding concern. Donald Trump made a statement yesterday with a stroke of a pen accusing Chris Krebs and Miles Taylor of treason. That's right. And Chris Krebs, who ran cybersecurity, was a critical person in terms of the first Trump administration. And Miles Taylor has been involved in the administration as well. What is their crime? Their crime is that they are not pro-Trump, or that they are not pro-Trump enough. But here's the kicker. Donald Trump signed this order and sent it to Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States. Let me remind you that during her confirmation hearings, Pam Bondi made clear that the Justice Department would remain independent, made clear that politics would not be involved in decisions made by the Justice Department. I count on Donald Trump to not do the right thing. But now the question is, what will Pam Bondi do? Will she follow the directive of the White House, or will she not? This is a critical question. And I want to make clear that the independence of the Justice Department is critical. We now have a situation of chaos in this administration. We have a situation where abuse of power is taking place in this administration. It is critical that we get things on the right track. Let me point out that Donald Trump claims that he is showing how he can make America great again. America is a great nation. But what Donald Trump is doing is pulling that nation down. Now, I know that some of you are saying, John, you suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. No, I don't. I'm a very practical person. If Joe Biden were doing what this president is doing now, believe me, I would be just as disturbed, just as angry. We are doing our best to point out these problems. But let me give you one more example. Donald Trump signed an order yesterday to make America showers great again. Yeah, showers. Because he says that the water restrictions which have been placed, and which I, by the way, have in my own home, are an infringement on my personal liberty to have the kind of shower that I want. There is something terribly wrong, and we need to explore it, understand it, and make sure that we correct it. I am waiting for the Republicans, particularly in the United States Senate, to stand up and just say no. The Congress needs to re-exert its authority when it comes to tariffs, needs to reject the idea that executive orders rule the country. There is going to be a vote, we are told, although it was postponed yesterday, by the Speaker of the House on the question of the president's economic formula for America. What is holding it up are the Republicans themselves. Conservative Republicans, if you will, do not rule the roost. The more radical Republicans, who take an even more irresponsible position on fiscal matters. What is going on in the Republican Party? And what is going on in our nation? These issues must be confronted. Whether it is the president charging individuals with treason, whether it is what the Justice Department does or does not do, when we have a president of the United States who is so concerned with the economy that he can't quite get it straight, that there are contradictions within his own administration. And if you'll pardon a bad pun, I don't want to shower on the parade, but when a president of the United States is so absorbed with the question of whether or not he can get the kind of shower he wants, well, there is something seriously wrong. I know that it appears to be a redundant theme. No, my friends, I'm not redundant. I am simply pointing out the bare realities and truth about what Donald Trump and his administration are inflicting on the United States of America. It's just that simple. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which is, of course, our goal. You can interact with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and, of course, by emailing me, and many of you do. My special appreciation to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this podcast, who makes sure we are up and running every single weekday. Gogo, thanks so much. This is John Rothman. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you then.